Hi, how you doing? My name is Charles Kyle and I'm the owner of Groundwater Digital. Now, just a week or two ago, I was presenting at the Virginia Water Well Association conference for their continuing education program. And in this presentation, I talked a lot about some of the major issues that groundwater business owners and managers are facing right now. And I figured out what these issues were by talking to dozens of business owners, over the last month and a half. And by far, the most commonly mentioned challenge is finding and keeping good employees. And coming from a construction background, I can relate to the challenge and difficulty in finding good tradesmen. And so in this presentation that I gave a couple weeks ago, I spoke about how some of my clients are solving these problems. Now, usually my clients come to me when they have a customer acquisition problem, meaning they need more customers. And in working with different businesses, I've seen how people approach all sorts of problems. And I've seen how some of our customers have taken the services that we provide and applied them to problems that we didn't really think about dealing with before, such as finding and keeping good employees, figuring out a succession plan for your business, and things of that sort. So I talked about these things in the presentation, but I didn't have time to go really into depth about what I mean. So the purpose of this video is just to better explain what I was talking about and fully describe and show you, how these people are dealing with this problem. So we'll start out with talking about Google. And you might be wondering, well, how is Google going to help me find employees? Well, bear with me for a minute. It'll make complete sense in just a few minutes. So this story starts out on Google. And in order to understand what I'm talking about, I first need to describe or make sure that you understand how Google works exactly. So for the purpose of this example, I'm using my own business as the example. Now I have two businesses. I have a family remodeling company and I have a marketing company. And so this has given me some pretty special insights into how all this works because I've applied it directly to my own contracting business. And I've done the same thing for dozens of customers across the country in my marketing business. So I've seen this play out tons of times. And so I can deliver this information to you with confidence that this is how it works pretty much all of the time. So for this demonstration, I just typed into Google search remodeling contractor, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, because that's what somebody in my area would search for if they were looking for a company like mine. And the first thing that we see up here is some advertisements. So you can see these little things that say ad. That's letting us know that these are advertisements. And that means that these companies are paying Google to show up here at the top of the screen, because whoever shows up first is going to get most of the attention. Underneath the ads, we've got what's called Google Maps. So Google Maps is like Google's version of a local search. It's showing me search results that are unique to my area. And it makes perfect sense, right? Because if I'm looking for a contractor near me, then I'm going to be looking for somebody that's actually in my city. I'm not going to work with somebody on the other side of the country. And so that's why Google created this section called Google Maps. And then below Google Maps, we've got what's called organic search. So this is all the websites that Google came up with related to the keywords that I typed in, which are up here, remodeling contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So those are the three basic areas that you're going to find on a Google search, and each one's different. People pay to be up here at the top with the advertisements. People don't pay to be here in Google Maps. It's free to sign up and it's free to use. And people also don't pay for the organic search results. It's all about having a website that is good enough that Google's going to show you. I can scroll down here and see that there's 10 pages of search results and each one has 10 listings. So Google's giving me 100 websites to choose from, but 99.9% of consumers are never going to get past the first page, and usually they'll find what they're looking for up here at the top somewhere. So, that's why it's good to be found up top. So now that you understand exactly how the Google search engine works, let's look at who we're seeing here. So up here at the top, we've got Home Advisor. If you're not familiar with Home Advisor, they are not a contractor. They're actually just a company that collects people's contact information and sells it to contractors like me. Angie's List does the same thing. Thumbtack does the same thing. And DJT, it looks like they're an actual remodeling company. So 3 out of 4 of these ads are not actual local businesses. They're just big corporations that are trying to wiggle in between me and my customers so that they can charge me for their contact information. Now below in the Google Maps section, we've got only real companies. These big corporate lead reselling companies cannot show up in Google Maps because they're not located in my city. If they were located in my city, then they could. But you'll see me up here at the top, and you'll see 2 other companies, that are local to here. And that's why it's so good to show up here in Google Maps, because then you're not competing with all of these lead reselling companies. Okay, so that's Google Maps. Now let's talk about the organic search. So we've got me right up here at the top, and that's what my marketing team does for other companies, including my own, which is make sure that our website shows up here at the top. That's how we get phone calls. That's how we stay busy throughout the year. But who else do we have here? We have Houzz, Better Business Bureau twice. We have Yelp. We've got Angie's List again. We've got Porch twice. We've got BuildZoom and Thumbtack, and then Houzz again. Okay, so out of all of these 10 websites I just listed off, mine is the only one that's an actual contractor in this area. The rest of these websites are lead reselling companies. So that's, let's see, 10, so 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 12 of these are lead reselling middlemen companies, and 5 of them are actual contractors. So when somebody searches for a contractor in their area, they're not looking for a lead reselling company, they're looking for a contractor. And I do other videos on my YouTube channel, feel free to check them out, where I actually go into depth about how these companies work and why I don't use them anymore. We used to use them 10, 15 years ago because they were profitable, but their prices are too high now and hardly any of these people answer the phone. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about with Google, and that's what we do for people. We make sure that they show up here in Google Maps, and we make sure their website shows up here on the organic search, and we make sure their website is as professional as possible so that people will hire them. Sometimes we'll run ads as well, and so if we do our job right, we'll show up, we'll make sure our clients show up in all 3 of these places when people search. And that's about as good as you can get. If you can show up in all 3 places, you're gonna get as many phone calls as is possible from Google. And these days, more and more people are using their smartphones to find what they're looking for, whether it's because they're the younger generation and that's just how they do everything through their phone, or maybe it's because people are moving from a big city into a rural area and they don't know anybody, so they're using their phone to find a contractor to come drill a well or to come fix their well, or whatever. And then even people that get referred to you, because I know word of mouth is the main way that groundwater businesses get customers. Even people that get referred to you are gonna type your name into Google and come read your reviews, and they're gonna come look at your website, and they're gonna compare you to different companies to decide if you're really that good. And reviews are becoming the most important factor when people are buying things online. So I'm saying all this stuff to make sure that you understand what my clients are doing to make sure that they get enough opportunities, enough customers to be able to solve the other problems, such as the employee problem and the succession plan problem. So let's talk about somebody who just recently resolved some of their employee problems using, starting where I just showed you. So this company is called Lundy's Lawn Care. And you'll see here, if you type in landscaper in Chilhowie, Virginia, which is where he's located, you'll see him right up here at the top. and he's got 20 reviews where his competitors have 8 and 4. So right off the bat, when people in his area search for a landscaper, they're finding him right at the top of the page, and he has more reviews than his competitors. So instantly he's getting more credibility than they are. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll notice that his website's right here, number 2, and his Facebook page is number 3. So he's showing up 3 spots on top of Google search, and that is resulting in loads of phone calls. So if we check out this is called Google My Business. This is what Google Maps. If you log into your Google Maps account, it's called Google My Business. And this is a chart showing that in the last 30 days, he's got 37 phone calls directly from this listing. So that's people clicking on this listing, reading some of his reviews here, and then clicking on the phone number button right here and calling him. 37 people just this month, and 35 of those people went to visit his website. So what are those people doing? Well, they're vetting him. They're looking to make sure, okay, he's a full service landscaper, he's in the right place. They're learning a little bit about him, and as they navigate around his site, they're seeing all the different services he provides. He's seeing everything is clean, orderly. There's no mistakes. You know, the attention to detail is important. People that reach your website after reading your reviews, they're usually already this close to calling you. They're just looking for a red flag. They're looking for a reason to not. So if they go to your website and it's broken, or if there's a bunch of misspelled words, or if you don't look professional, then they might hesitate and go look at your competitors. And typically whoever has the best website of the ones they look at is going to get the first phone call. And so Aaron Lundy, about 4 months ago is when we launched this new website. And in this, what did he say? In the 21 days after we launched his site, he submitted 69 estimates to new prospective customers, which is more than he would normally do in a quarter. So we multiplied the number of phone calls and new customers that were coming to him by over 6 times. And he got a lot of these projects. And so all of a sudden he had over double the amount of projects going, and he had way more opportunities than he could possibly take advantage of. So pretty quickly he realized that he needed to raise his prices to help these opportunities self-select themselves out. And so he ended up doing more projects and getting paid for more of them, and he was able to turn around and pay better wages to his employees. So by offering 30% more than his competitors to new employees, he's been able to attract much higher quality employees, ones that already have a lot of the skills they need, ones that were reliable and ready to work at his company for a long time, because now he offers better wages, he offers better benefits, and he's got this book of customers coming in that is so huge that his employees know that they're going to have consistent work. So all of these factors contribute to him solving his employee problem. You know, before he had a hard time finding good people. The people that were willing to come on and work for his old starting wage were just lower quality people, and they would call in sick all the time, or they would quit after a few months. But now, ever since he's been able to raise his wages, he's been able to keep the same people, and they're just better people. And so that took care of the employee problem. But if you move beyond that and talk about the succession plan deal, you know, if he wanted to pass on his business 6 months ago, somebody else would look at it and say, okay, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get more customers, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to find and keep good employees. And those are two of the most major issues in a business. So if someone were to buy his business 6 months ago, they would know that they would have to come in and fix it, because that would be the only way to see a clear path to success. But now, with all of these customers coming to him like clockwork every week through his website, and with this great team of employees he has now, someone else could look at his business with the idea of purchasing it and see, okay, sweet, I could step in here. I would immediately have a lot of opportunities. I have a crew that can fulfill these opportunities. Like this is a very clear path to success with this business. And so if he were to decide to sell it or pass it on to somebody, it'd be a pretty easy sell. And that's how starting with customer acquisition and increasing the amount of opportunities you have can lead. It's like a domino effect. Get more opportunities, raise your prices, get more jobs, make more money, pay better wages, have a business that is nicely packaged with no major problems that's able to be passed on or sold to someone else. So let's just look at a couple more examples. We've got 3 groundwater companies here. This one is a pump contractor, 22 calls in the last month, 32 website visits. So how many opportunities do you think that is? That could be 10, 15, 20 new customers coming in and working with these guys. And these are calls directly to them. This isn't buying someone's contact information from HomeAdvisor that's sold to 6 different companies at the same time. This is somebody who's read their reviews, looked at their website, and decided to make contact. They're already 90% of the way to becoming a customer. You just have to finish the transaction. Here's another pump contractor, 30 calls in the last 30 days, 29 website visits. How many opportunities is that? If you were getting 30 more phone calls a month than you are now, what would happen? Would you be able to raise your prices? Would you be able to have more consistent work for your crew? Would you sleep easier at night, not worrying about whether you're going to keep everyone busy and still be able to profit yourself? You know, a lot of problems can be solved starting here on Google. And then last, here's a well driller, 31 calls in the last 30 days, 23 website visits. You know, this, I guarantee you this listing alone is keeping them busy, but this isn't even counting the calls that come from their website, referrals, social media, any other sources. This is only Google Maps. This is only, where is it? This is only people clicking on this call button right here. So how many people do you think just type that number into their phone and call? You know, this isn't even tracking everything. So, you know, that's it in a nutshell. You know, all these issues that people have in their business are tied together. And usually if you can solve one really well, especially one in the beginning, like getting a steady flow of customers, then you can knock out all these problems on the back end. But if you don't have enough customers, you're never going to be able to hire a big enough team. You're never going to be able to pay high enough wages to actually attract good people. And you're always going to be dealing with these issues. So, you know, in a nutshell, that's what I was talking about in this presentation last week. I hope that this video sheds some light on what I was talking about and gives you a clear understanding of what kind of services that we offer at Groundwater Digital. We can take you on as a client and we literally become your marketing department. So instead of hiring somebody to work for $50,000 a year, you can work with us for $6,000 a year and we'll take care of all of this stuff for you and make sure that you're making a profit on this. At the end of the day, we want to work with you for the next 20, 30 years and be your partner in this. So if you're interested in something like this, feel free to reach out to me. If you like this kind of content and you want to learn more about this stuff, check out my YouTube channel. I'm posting videos about this multiple times a week and generally just trying to get the word out there. You know, this stuff isn't rocket science. It's not super complicated. It's not the new thing that's going to go away next year. This is how all businesses that are having success online, all local service businesses anyway, this is how they're doing it. This is the core of it, and you could be doing it too. So hope that was valuable for you, and thanks for watching.